This is U Family Farms. We're in the Greenbelt in Riverside. My name is Vincent. This is my sister Jennifer, my wife Julia, and my mom Susan, and my dad is not here currently.
Hi, this is Myung Yu. I am Korean. I came from Korea to New Jersey 1970 when I was 19, and we got to be in New Jersey to 70 to 80. We lived in New Jersey, worked for M&M Candy Company, me and my husband. And then 1980, my kids were born in New Jersey. We came to California and we start to do the restaurant business.
So our family has been here in Riverside since the 1980s, roughly. We owned a hamburger restaurant by UCR called Zorba's Restaurant, which we ran for over 40 years. We sold the business, and my wife and I and my sister part-time have been working here on the farm. But my parents bought the property, originally the Cleveland property up the street off of Cleveland and Myers. They had bought 10 acres. Before that, they were looking for avocados. They came across a property in Temecula that happened to be a flower farm, which was surrounded by avocado groves, but we had the only non-avocado area in Temecula. But they ended up purchasing it, and that kind of fueled their desire to have an avocado area as well as be farmers. They got interested in that, and they started learning about farming and irrigation and the water and stuff like that. And then they found the property locally here that had orange groves, and they took all the oranges out and they planted avocados. And because we have shares of Gage Canal water, we are able to irrigate avocados because citrus and avocados require so much water.
We started experimental. So one of my friends helped us to grow avocado. After he planted, he said, I don't know, actually this is gonna have a fruit. And we were stuck.
He recommended certain types of avocados.
Because himself, it's the beginning, he didn't have avocado trees. Oh my God, he's the one planted and says, I'm not sure we're gonna have a fruit. That's how much avocado wasn't familiar with this area. He gave us a lot of good ideas too.
We were one of the first to do avocados in this area. Mostly it's avocado traditionally is in different kind of terrain. But they tried it and they developed that land over there, and then they eventually came across this property, and it had 2 existing houses on it, and they were just gonna tear it down and just make it they were just gonna make it an avocado grove, but then they realized that the houses were still in pretty good shape, so they just ended up renovating the insides a little bit, working on them and the roof and stuff, and they ended up spending so much time here, they eventually just moved over here and made it a house. And I think traditionally a lot of Korean people are into farming, and they believe that Riverside was one of the first Koreatowns in the US, actually. It became just something that they wanted to do, to becoming like an actual lifestyle. So they stopped working at the store, and this is a full-time job, as anyone knows. I mean, we come from like a hamburger store background, so we're kind of getting used to everything like that. And so people are like, what do you know about farming? I'm like, I don't. My dad and I are always like, let's figure it out, and if it works, then next year we'll do the same thing. So we're learning as well. But a lot of people have different kinds of advice, and different kinds of backgrounds help. Like for instance, we get boxes that we put all the avocados in it. We get them from a tomato company, packing company that we knew when we had our hamburger store. We used to buy tomatoes from them, and they sell us the larger boxes now. So we were telling the guy down the street, he's like, where are you getting boxes? And so we told him, and he goes over there now and he makes connections that way. Well, I think that what it is this area, because of the Gage Canal providing water, we can grow things like avocados, which traditionally weren't grown here. And then now there's a couple more groves here that have started growing. I know that Caesar right down the street is growing some avocados as well. But I think the opportunity is because of the good fresh water that comes out of the Gage Canal. That's helping us a lot. I think years ago was when they were talking about putting tertiated water with the Gage Canal water, and that was a big issue for the people in this area. And that kind of brought a lot of people together, to be honest, because a lot of people have orange groves and stuff that are very fragile and that do require a lot of water. So having mixed water isn't a good idea. And I know UCR uses the fresh water from the Gage Canal water, and that was a big issue for the people in this area. And that kind of brought a lot of people together, to be honest, because a lot of people have orange groves and stuff that are very fragile and that do require a lot of water. So having mixed water isn't a good idea. And I know UCR uses the fresh water from the Gage Canal to do their research. And in that case, you need fresh water, clean water. You can't use the reused tertiated water or what have you. Like, for instance, we would not be growing avocados if we didn't have shares of Gage Canal water, just simply because you can't produce avocados on the city water prices or whatever. It's incentive, but by the city taking away the shares for the property, each property, there's no reason for a person to grow crops of any sort and keep it kind of a greenbelt area if they can't grow crops without the water.
The city of Riverside shouldn't be too much greedy.
The water is the key. It's the biggest issue in this area, and the biggest plus in this area is the Gage Canal water. So I think my parents have figured out that they can do a variety of, we do persimmons, some citrus, we still have lemons and oranges. We did have grapefruits at one point, but we don't do that anymore. Now we have pomegranates and jujubes, which are, they're called different
Chinese
things.
dates.
Chinese dates and different things like that. So persimmons and jujubes tend to be a little bit more on the Asian style of, people use those for a lot of cooking and stuff like that. But persimmons don't use as much water, but the avocados use quite a bit of water, and as do oranges. And all the people that traditionally grow citrus out here know that as well, that they need quite a bit of water. And so Greenbelt area, this area right here, the nurseries also use a lot of water, and then the citrus use a lot of water. A lot of people are afraid that in the back of the mind, they're afraid that it's gonna get ruined because they like kind of the solitude of the area, of the peacefulness of it. Hence you get a lot of people complaining when the people are dumping or when the homeless people are making encampment somewhere. But they also want it to be known that they're here. So it's like this kind of juxtaposed kind of, they're very proud of their area, like they don't want it to be a secret that everyone knows about, and at the same time they want people to know about it. I think that this area shows a lot of potential for people that want to grow stuff, and I think a lot of cities are moving towards like allowing marijuana to be grown and this and that, and it's kind of one of those things where it kind of loses some of the culture. I think people know Riverside and they sense, you know, the oranges and the citrus park. It's interesting. I think everyone has this collective want to preserve, I think. And when we were kids, we used to come out to Victoria Avenue and go to the stands and get bags of oranges, and my sister and I would sit there and eat oranges for the entire afternoon, just a bag each. They just taste completely different.
Well, I grew up my whole life not liking plums, like from the grocery store, until we grew them here. And then when you have one that's just on the tree, like ripened on the tree, you can't even, it's like honey. There's no comparison.
Right, yeah. So, city of Riverside, I wanted to keep it as much as natural, purified. Not only, what's crops to make money. No, not that. I want to keep it as much as natural. You know, beautify America. I mean,
it's pretty amazing. A lot of people come from our church to hang out here all the time. Mm-hmm. There's always people here at night. I mean, they have a fire pit.
The sunset here is gorgeous.
Yeah, and so it's weird, but everyone envies having just an open piece of land where they can grow stuff. My wife is from the city in Korea, so she's not used to farming and all these insects and bugs and animals and all this other stuff. It's a complete shock, but it also becomes part of like your piece and this and that. And like I think this area itself is gorgeous. It's like a really gorgeous. When I was younger or going to college, for instance, my friends, where are you from? And I would say Riverside, and they go, oh, I drove through there. It's a lot of dirt. And it was just kind of one of those funny things that people would say, like, oh yeah, there's not much going on at Riverside. And then eventually it kind of has like this, you know, you get, when you're a kid, you'd ride your bike down Victoria Avenue and you smell the orange blossoms every summer, and you just pick oranges off the tree and eat them and this and that. And that's kind of what the Greenbelt area needs to preserve, I think, for a lot of people. And I think everyone that lives in this area gets that. They kind of get that heritage kind of feeling about it. And so it's really important that we diversify a little bit, but we keep oranges. Like we keep oranges kind of on the edges of the crops, because you got to keep them.
Tap into that heritage.
Yeah, everyone wants an orange every now and then. You know, people are becoming a little bit more health conscious, and in the past, maybe it seems to me the past decade or so, a lot of people have been really like, they really love the farm to market idea, farmers markets. It's a lot more popular, and they're really more conscious about their environment and the food that they're eating.
I like avocados. Yeah, I like to eating just sit and then salt and pepper. I love it. I can compare the other store avocado. It's different. It's more buttery and more flavor. Just, I love it.
But to have a ripe avocado, they were doing check the water, pull the weed.
Yeah,
She
It is a lot of
also
work.
does like an Asian twist on it, where she'll like marinate it in soy sauce and garlic and stuff.
I play hockey with a guy who's on he was on Iron Man magazine, and he's like a super cut weightlifter. And I gave him a box of avocados because he eats like 2 or 3 a day with his chicken, and he has to measure everything. And when the avocados ran out, like because the season ended, he's been sending me pictures almost every 4 days of store-bought avocados, and they're all brown on the inside. And he's like, I'm going crazy. I'm addicted to, you know, your avocados here. And I'm like, I promise when they're in season, I'll get you some, but I can't get you. And he's like, I'm never going to buy from a store again during your season, you know. So the Index Fresh helps us a lot. We sell like about 70-80% of our crop every year to Index Fresh, which is a distributor, and they gather avocados from, you know, all of California actually. And recently avocados have been competing with Mexico at the same season, and then now in the off season the avocados come from South America, such as Peru and this and that.
A lot of care and then time, and you need a lot of care. I'm talking about avocado tree. They're very sensitive. When they 1 or 2 days of hot and extreme heat and cold, okay, but it's continuously, then they die. They just
So the water helps the trees with the stress of extreme heat, or actually even too cold. If you have decent amount of water in the ground and on them, then that tends to let them help in different climate.
Every year, the avocado tree or what kind of tree dying. Because of weather or golfer or something like lot of things. But I want some help from the city to buying the tree.
Yeah, like they have the
the
shade tree
every
program.
year.
Like in the city offers a shade tree program, right?
But that's
But it's
very
different. Like
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have more of one in the Greenbelt area.
you still have to purchase yourself to
So
reimburse.
I think what my sister-in-law was trying to say was like every year there's always like a certain amount of like crops that fail, or so like she would she wants like a program or something that helps you like replenish that cost effectively.
Because Riverside's not exactly the most ideal climate for avocados per se, but it's not bad. It's become slightly better. So it is climate is an issue and stuff like that, but a lot of things with different crops are solved by the abundance of water and clean water. So that needs to be protected first and foremost, I think.
Okay.
There's a couple friends from church and what have you that have private little markets or the hair salon and stuff like that, and a lot of times we'll sell our produce. We'll give that produce to them and they'll sell for us to their customers. So it's kind of like a
not much
Mutually
for us
yeah, it's
now.
a mutually beneficial.
It's not making money, selling and stuff. It's more to the like old people. They can't come around.
Oh, in my opinion, there's some select fruit stands that individual farmers have property on, and they'll put a farm stand on here. But if you don't have footage in the front of your property to actually sell, then it's difficult. A lot of people would love to stop on their way home, pick up some vegetables and produce, and bring it home to feed their families instead of stopping at a grocery store. I mean, they have the opportunity to buy stuff that's grown, you know,
Right,
a block
yeah,
or
yeah.
two away, and they could do it. If you look at, for instance, what's Corona Farms on Victoria Avenue and stuff like that, they have quite a bit of variety, and a lot of people are going there as an alternative to buying at the store. And most of this stuff out here is organic, but you know, people don't want to necessarily pay for the organic, you know, title.
Okay.
It's a great area. It's a very peaceful area, and the plants grow well here. The nurseries have great variety and stuff like that. And then, you know, you get like the big city name nurseries, and they're very commercial and everything. And you think, man, if people would just come over here, they would probably prefer it more. Or if people came over here and bought a couple boxes of avocados, they would last better. I think that some of the farmers here would like to have like a central location where everyone can bring some of their products without maybe exuberant fees.
Or party
And just,
party
yeah,
first.
and just have like maybe a semi-permanent area, and they want to see the process. They're distrustful of the big name places, and so you're seeing places that they'll spend a little bit more premium because they believe that it's maybe healthier or it's better. So if you did that and just had people offer anyone in this area, if you're in the area and you want to sell your produce or your product, and even mom and pops have a couple lemon trees and they want to get rid of them during the season, they just have millions of, have them have the opportunity to go there so that people can go there and get fresh produce from the area. That would be awesome. But you can get more specific, and there's areas in our city that grow, and it's great products and great produce and great, you know, trees and plants, and it'd be nice for that to get a little bit more advertisement, get more in the spotlight. Well, I wish there was a program where we have the collective farmers from this area have a regular type of meeting where we can collaborate and cooperate with each other as far as equipment and different kind of issues that we might be having right now. As far as like crops and stuff like that, it'd be neat to get some of the people together, so like if there is an issue, like they need to do planting, that maybe they can borrow the resources from someone else and have that open. We let each other use heavy equipment sometimes. Like your father used the tractor specifically so it could put in greenhouses, and then in turn, you know, we use his tractor when we need something. And I think the community itself, they talk a lot. They call each other like, how is this tree not growing? And you need bees, or, you know, this and that. And it's stuff that you learn. I mean, we as property owners in the area, that's kind of on our own. But since we're all kind of collectively in the area, which we do stuff together, it helps. I mean, you look at, we go back and forth with equipment with Carl, and even pipes. My dad just goes over there and takes them, to be honest, once in a while from Carl. We go through with advice. For instance, like Caesar will come up and say, what are you guys doing with this? And You know, we've
Yeah.
given them the number to our bee guy who comes in with the bees. And it would be helpful with, honestly, with heavy equipment and stuff like that. That could help.
Heavy equipment, plus maybe the little tree,
Yeah.
like this year maybe we need 150 of avocado, house avocado tree. We needed that much, and then neighbor needed that. Maybe they order from somewhere. I mean city, and then we buy from the city.
You could do a group order to get a
Yeah.
better price.
Yeah. I wish there's a people. Oh, I want to know about the Riverside, Greenbelt area. Then when they go to the California Citrus Park, there is I wish there was a program around that area.
Well, it'd be nice to have a little bit more incentive for selling to local areas. I think you have to register all your crops here, right? In order to sell certain markets, you have to get a farmer's market certification in order to sell at certain farmers markets. So if we were to have like a collective area where we just do it, I'm curious to see what kind of fees that they would do. I wish everyone has the opportunity to grow stuff in their own backyards. And all my friends have 1 or 2 avocado trees in their backyard, and they get all excited when it produces. And you know, they have a lemon tree. We have 1,000 lemons, and you know, we don't know what to do with them. And it'd be nice to have like an area where they can just go bring it and just kind of, you know, sell it to their friends and stuff. So that's nice. Yeah, there's that little Korean market. They're selling these. They kind of sell these for us.
So when we put the farm stand at the corner, you guys gonna come and sell your
Yeah, I
stuff on
wish.
Saturdays?
Yeah, if we could do a farm stand, that'd be awesome. All right, here you go. These are some persimmons. I hope you'll eat them. Make some cookies.
Jujube.
Eat one.
Jujube.
You have
Pick
jujubes?
Yeah, we have.
Thank you for coming by, Gage.